Now it's time for a business spotlight. This is the Adelaide Project.
Hello and welcome to the Adelaide Project Business Spotlight, brought to you by podcastcity.com.au. If you're looking for a way to engage your audience with your amazing content, then you need to talk to them about producing, recording, editing, and videotaping and distributing your very own podcast. Just go to podcastcity.com.au. I'm Ron Fiedler and it's great to be back with you for a new episode. Did you know that 3.2 days are lost every year through workplace stress and $543 million are paid in workers' compensation for work-related mental health conditions? So let me ask you, would you consider your working environment stress-free and happy? Do you have the necessary skills to deal with stress so that your mental and physical health is balanced? And what about your mindfulness? If you answered no, then don't go anywhere, because today's guest may just have the solution for you. Joining me today is a person whose passion is to support individuals, teams and organisations to develop the skills and tools that will enable profound transformations. She guides participants in creating sustainable well-being in the workplace and brings her knowledge of health, nutrition, lifestyle, mindfulness and meditation to everyone she meets. I would like to welcome to the Adelaide Project Business Spotlight Sue Bromley from Work Culture Club. Sue Bromley, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Ron. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it is a pleasure to have you on. And Sue, I would really like to know more about your company and yourself, and tell our listeners what you do.
Thanks, Ron. What I do at Work Culture Club is deliver training and workshops for leaders, managers and employees in the workplace. So our mission is to create healthy, happy, thriving and productive individuals, and that then translates to their personal and professional lives as well. The workshops are backed by science and give participants cutting-edge tools to optimise their lives and their workplace. But the science is delivered in an easy, practical and fun way. They're hands-on, interactive and really gets into what's going on for the participants and how to move forward from there, because you apply these tools in the workshop and then participants also get resources to take home so they can make these practices part of their everyday life, much like brushing your teeth in the morning. You don't have to think about it anymore. It's just automatic. You know, you're on autopilot, but in a good way, not in a bad way.
So, Sue, you were talking there that you give people practical skills to take home. Could you give us a little bit of a understanding of how that works? What sort of things can people do at home to change their mindset?
You mentioned meditation, and that definitely is a big gun. There's no doubt about that. I think it's it used to have sort of different connotations or alternative connotations, but now it's become very mainstream. And that's, you're leaving too much money on the table if you don't have a regular mindfulness practice and a regular meditation practice, because it's only in meditation that we actually get into the operating system of our mind. Because at the end of the day, science tells us that by the time we're 35 years of age, 95% of who we are is a set of unconscious programs, thoughts, behaviours, actions, beliefs, perceptions, automatic emotional reactions that just run like a computer program that we're just completely unaware of. If we're going to change and steer the life and get the outcomes we want in our life, then we've got to become aware of the programs serving us and the ones that are, and install the ones that are.
Yeah, you're so right. A lot of people are on that automated system. They're on autopilot. They don't know what they're doing every day. They're just going with the flow.
That's right.
You're talking about meditation there as a way of getting into our conscious mind. When should we be doing meditation? When's the best time?
Best time is in the morning. It is. You're in the optimal brainwave state that facilitates being able to get into the program, if you like, or into the operating system, much like getting into a computer and reinstalling software programs. But the ones that you design so that you can get the outcomes in your personal and professional life that you want.
So it's more like a factory reset with the apps that you need and getting rid of all the apps that you don't.
Exactly.
That's
exactly
great.
what it is.
So, Sue, you have some unique qualifications, such as a certified NeuroChange solutions consultant. For our listeners that may not be familiar with this, could you explain it?
Sure, Ron. I'm one of 5 only NCS, or NeuroChange Solutions is what that stands for, in the whole of Australia, and the only one in Adelaide. And there's only about 180 of us worldwide. We're all trained and certified in a very transformational 2-day change corporate program for the corporate market, designed by Dr. Joe Dispenza. If you haven't heard of him, he's like a 4 times best-selling author, international speaker, lecturer, educator. He has week-long retreats all around the world. Every 2 weeks he's got one. He's coming to Australia, actually, and I'm going. You
were talking about that. It's sold out. Is that correct?
They sell out in under 10 minutes.
Wow.
Even when there'll be probably 2,000 people there.
Yeah.
And they sell out in under 10 minutes.
Wow. That's great.
Every single time, no matter where he's having his
retreat. And you are part of this program.
So NCS is actually Dr. Joe Dispenza's corporate arm of his work. And so I'm an NCS trained consultant and certified in the Change Your Mind. The program for the corporate market of Dr. Joe's is Change Your Mind, Create New Results, and it's exactly what it is.
Wow.
It's changing your mind the way you want it to create the results that you want, basically. Yep. It's a result of 20 years of Dr. Joe Dispenza studying the neuroscience behind change. And so in this course, we learn how your brain functions. As I said, implement the habits that make us flourish in life and at work, so that we're running on autopilot the way we want to, and then implement them so they become part of our everyday life.
Yeah.
Because if 95% of who we are is a state of unconsciousness, then the first step to change is become aware of your unconscious self. And in Change Your Mind and Create New Results, we learn how to become conscious of our negative thoughts, patterns, programs, habits, and then unlearn, unwire, uninstall, if you like, and then with practical tools, how to install new programs so you can achieve more of what you want in your personal, professional life. So, if we can get enough people in a culture to become conscious of their unconscious thoughts, aware of how they speak, aware of how they act, and noticing how they're feeling on a moment-to-moment basis, and give them the tools to change, I say an organisation, a company will flourish. And it turns out, just for instance, that 70% of the time, people in the Western world are living in a state of survival, living in a state of emergency. So that means they're living in stress. They may not even realise it because they're so used to it that this imbalance in themselves has become the new balance. So to them, it's just normal, And in this state, people make more mistakes. This is not a time to learn effectively. It's not a time to communicate effectively. It's not a time to create. It's a time to run, fight or hide, right? Because that's the primitive system that we have within us all for survival. And just like stress eventually degrades a human body, it also degrades a culture within an organisation. So this course, it's just one of the things that teaches people how to go from living in this state of survival and emergency to a state of creation. And that's just one of the things that it teaches.
I like what you said there. It changes you for creating and becoming a better person. I suppose that a lot of workplaces out there don't really look at the mindfulness of their employees. They don't look at how maybe they can change the way they think to become better people. Can you talk more about mindfulness and why is it so important, Sue?
Yeah, it's a buzzword at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Same as meditation, buzzword, and for good reason. And they've all both stood the test of time, Mindfulness is important for so many reasons and has so many benefits. Mindfulness really is being fully present with whatever you're doing, with complete awareness and non-judgment. And this creates metacognition too, which is becoming aware of what you're thinking about, and becoming aware of your unconscious self.
Yeah.
But our minds are so habitually in the past or the future. That's what it does. It's again the survival instinct. We're trying to predict the next moment and ruminating on what's gone wrong so it doesn't happen again. And this is not very productive or creative state of mind to be in. So a consistent mindfulness practice trains the brain to be present. And in this state, you're more aware, you're less stressed, you're more creative, you see more possibilities because you're not looking for, watching out for imminent threats in your environment on a low-level basis. and you're not in a familiar program or a habit. You've stepped into the present moment where there is no past, there is no future in that moment. And this is a creative state, a state that some maybe artists or workplaces or people would call the flow state, and with consistent mindfulness practice, you can get into those states. It's not just for the, for the rich and famous or for the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
Because when you're present and in the moment, you step out of those programs and suddenly there's a gap also between what happens to you in your life, either personally or at work, and your reaction to it. And mindfulness increases that gap over time. So when you increase that gap, you suddenly have a choice now. Instead of reacting automatically from your programs, you have a choice now to become aware and maybe react differently. And that's empowerment. That's self-empowerment.
Oh, definitely.
And mindfulness also harnesses your ability to focus because that's fundamental to the practice itself. So all these benefits add up to optimizing your state of mind and productivity in life, and that's why we call it, that program in particular, Mindfulness for Productivity.
Mm-hmm. Your business there is Work Culture Club.
Yes.
Now, how important is it for this in the workplace? How important is it that managers, managing directors, CEOs give this sort of training to their workers?
Well, if you don't have a thriving culture, this translates to everything. It translates to sales. Your customers feel it. And people leave if the culture is not.
It's very important now because a lot of workplaces, people are saying that culture is more important than the money.
Well, it translates to the money ultimately.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Look how well Google look after their staff. Look how well that. So everybody who's anyone and the best at what they do is going to line up trying to get into Google.
Oh, yes.
Aren't they?
Yes.
So not only do you have access to the best staff, because your culture is so good and it's a great place to be in and it's thriving, but you have more staff retention and and more creativity and you're optimizing the technology that you have within each and every one of your employees, their mind, and their creativity you're tapping.
So, Sue, what you're saying is if we have this in our workplace, that we are going to be more profitable as a business because we're retaining good quality people that may attracting them and coming into our business and they're not going to our competitors. They're staying with us because we're giving them that good culture.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And your customers feel that, they feel the energy of that, and they want to work with you. They want to do business with you as well. Yeah,
let's just explore that you're saying about customers. Now, customers can feel tension in a place. They can feel if they're wanted. They can feel if it's a place for them.
That's right.
If you're driving away customers because you don't have a system like this in place, why are you in business?
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you have many different packages available. Could you go through them with us? And what's the benefit of them? What packages suit who?
Yep. I think they suit everyone, really, myself, But, okay, let's start with the 4-hour stress resilience program. That's a hands-on and experiential program. 4 hours, as I said, participants learn and experience lots of different practical on-the-go tools that they can use in their life to be able to self-regulate, and I would say it's really more of an overall wellness program as well, but it does focus on managing our stress because it covers off on so many different ways to stay balanced and increase overall well-being and vitality.
Yeah.
So that's that one. And then I have a mindfulness course, which is a 3.5-hour course. That, again, is where participants learn and experience so many different mindfulness practices and they can choose which one that suits them that they want to make part of their life.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Change Your Mind, Create New Results is a very powerful, I think I've mentioned that already, powerful and life-changing 2-day program. And the list of companies that have received this program into their workplace over the years from different NCS consultants globally reads like the A list of companies. It is Google, it is IBM, Sony, 7-Eleven, Microsoft, Johnson & Johnson. The list goes on, and worldwide they rate all companies across the globe rate this course a 4.6 out of 5.
Wow.
So it works is the bottom line.
And you don't have to be a huge company to do this, do you?
You don't have to be a huge company to do this. And it is for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not for just the Silicon Valley high-tech, just because it's based in neuroscience, you don't have to be a neuroscientist or a brain surgeon. They recently took this program into one of the hardest women's prisons in Mexico, actually. And I mean really hard. These people sleep standing up, they've got nothing to their name.
Yeah.
And it was gifted to them, of course. That's what I love about this community too. It's a very altruistic company to be involved in, or community more like it.
Yeah.
And those women just changed before their eyes,
Is that right?
Even the guards when they first started, were sort of rough and not wanting to help them and being aggressive and, but then the guards themselves started being more helpful as time got, because they were seeing these women change and transform, so it is very powerful program.
So it really does work.
I mean, it's for everyone.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, a company can, big or small, can book someone like yourself to come in and do this for all their workers,
staff,
all their staff. Or could individuals do it with you as well?
They can. Yes, they can. I did individuals last year, via Zoom.
Yeah.
I mean, because maybe if it's one person or two people, you might not want to, and they're from different workplaces, might not want to carry the cost of like a venue hire or anything. So, yes, things can be done via Zoom as well. And all programs can be split up into shorter segments. I know I've mentioned 4 hours and 3.5, and, of course, the Change Your Mind 2 days, that's a 10 to 12-hour delivery, but they can all be split up into shorter segments. Last year I did via Zoom because these gentlemen were in Melbourne, the CEO and his GM, his general manager. We did, for the 10 to 12-hour delivery, we did a couple of hours a week because they were really, really busy.
Yes.
And via Zoom because they were in Melbourne. So they can all be split up. They can all be done via Zoom, and all programs also have integrated resources the participants take home that they can implement into their lives and make it part of their lives. So it doesn't become shelf development. It becomes self-development, because that, I think, is the most integral part. Like, it's no use listening to a talking head for a while and, okay, you've workshop things out for yourself and practice things and done things. But then how's this going to be part of your life and remember it, and how's it going to become automatic within you? Only by practicing and being consistent and being, so there's follow-up coaching, there's follow-up coaching, but there's also integrative resources where you can revisit the course as many times as you like. You've got, for instance, the Change Your Mind, Create New Results program has a Genius Journal, 30 Days to Genius Journal it's called.
Wow, yeah.
And that's all journaling and then playing the meditation and then journaling after, and then, different things and throughout.
So this can really be put together to change your mindset, to change the way that you look at yourself and become more creative, become more self-aware.
That's right.
And that's what it's about.
Isn't it?
It is. We forget about ourselves. We put everyone first, and we forget that, as they say, I can't give the shirt off my back if I don't have one. So if we do this and get ourselves correct in the mind, then we can help others.
Correct, yes. Everybody benefits when you change from the inside out, or businesses change from the inside out. Everybody benefits.
Yeah, definitely.
People at home, your children.
We need to spend more investment in ourselves, and we don't do that. Sue,
we don't.
I have a question, which is, what do you think your skills can give to your clients?
Yeah. I show organisations how to effectively use the best technology they already have, because organisations are investing all the time, aren't they, in all types of technologies and how to use them. I think they said 2023 is going to be the AI year.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. And they forget that the most important one that will really make an impact in their performance and overall culture resides in each and every one of their employees. So with the latest in neuroscience, there is a formula for those bodies, for those brains, to regulate their own internal chemistry and their brainwaves to be in an optimal state for their own benefits and the benefits of their organisations. And by applying this formula, they're happier, they're more balanced, they're more communicative, they're more collaborative, they're more creative, they're more productive, there's better teamwork. And it's very simple in its application. If it wasn't simple, it wouldn't be going into prisons, and it wouldn't be going into, into every workplace, no matter what kind of workplace it is. So, simple, but it takes consistency.
Everyone's got to work on it.
Yes, that's right.
Any final tips that you can give our listeners, something that they can take away to do now before they contact you and get you to come in to help them with their mindset and their culture?
I would say that if you think your thoughts have anything to do with your destiny or your outcomes in your work life or in your personal life, by any measure, then make it your business to become aware of the thoughts that are serving you and the ones that are not. We have the machinery within us to do this. This is the size of our frontal lobe. We can become aware of our thoughts. We can become aware of how we speak, of how we feel on a moment-to-moment basis. And just this awareness gives you choices of how do you want to think? How do you want to show up? How do you want to act? How do you want to feel? And ultimately, the life you want to live. But this takes practice. But what do they say? The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. So just become aware. Take 3 conscious breaths throughout the day. When you're in a situation which is maybe a bit highly charged, take 3 breaths before you react, and then this gives you that space to determine how do you want it. Gives you more choice, let's put it that way.
And I like what you said there. We've got the machinery in us to change. I think what we need to do is open our mind so we can start it.
Use it. That's right. Exactly. That's
right. Look, Sue, it has been so great to talk to you today. What is the best way that people can contact you to find out more about your program or more information about how you can help them to change?
Sure. I mean, my website is workcultureclub.com.au. You can also hit me up on LinkedIn. There's a link to everything I do there and the website as well. So Sue Bromley is my LinkedIn, or if you put Sue Bromley Adelaide, you'll find me on LinkedIn. And so that's the main ways to contact me.
And of course, listeners, we've got all that information in the show notes and also on podcastcity.com.au's website and of course on our Facebook pages and LinkedIn. So you'll be able to find Sue all over the place. Sue, it has been a pleasure speaking with you today. I've learnt a lot. And I really encourage our listeners to contact you to change their mindset, to make their lives better and to invest in themselves. So thank you so much.
It's a pleasure, Ron. Thank you for having me.
Today on the Adelaide Project Business Spotlight, we have been speaking to Sue Bromley from Work Culture Club. She is passionate about supporting individuals, teams and organisations to develop the skills and tools that they will be able to use to make profound transformations. This podcast is brought to you by Podcast City. If you'd like to know more information about starting your own podcast, from planning your podcast to recording, editing and distributing your very own podcast to the world, just simply go to podcastcity.com.au. For the Adelaide Project Business Spotlight, I am Ron Fiedler. Until next time, bye for now.